Brad Koch of Public Affairs. Appreciate you joining us this morning. We're going to have two individuals speak. First up, we're going to have Sergeant Chris Rains, R-A-I-N-S, and he is over the department's ABC unit. And then second, we're going to have Lieutenant Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, Crum, C-R-U-M, and he is over our homicide unit and is going to give an update on the homicide from this morning. First up, we have Sergeant Rains. The ABC unit doesn't get a lot of attention because it's hard to track their successes. Much of what they do prevents crime, making it difficult to put hard numbers on their work. And our goal today is to make the community aware of their important work to provide some tips for keeping your family and your property safe this summer. Sergeant Chris Rains, who supervises 9 ABC detectives, is going to explain. At this time, I'll turn it over to Sergeant Rains. Sergeant Rains.
Good morning. I'm Chris Rains. I'm the sergeant of the Alcohol Beverage Control Unit with CMPD. What our unit does is investigating all businesses and individuals who are seeking an alcohol permit. We investigate those permits for permanent locations and for special one-time events like Speed Street or Sky Show or the 4th of July events all around town. So part of our investigation includes investigating the people applying for it and the location. We also do any investigations on crimes that occur inside ABC permitted establishments, and we do compliance checks on those locations as they sell alcohol. We also investigate liquor houses and gambling houses as part of our duties. What I'd like to talk about this time of year is we have prom and we have the summer coming up, is underage drinking. That's one of our main focuses, but it really intensifies in the summer. We come across a lot of illegal parties that parents and responsible adults aren't aware of. So as a parent, you need to have very frank conversations with your kids about what they're doing and where they're going. What we're finding is that many kids, when they go out at night away from their parents, they're binging on alcohol. This binge results in a lot of other things besides just being drunk. They can become victims of crime. Part of what we do is look towards protecting the kids with our own investigations, which are behind the scenes. What our job is with that behind the scene work is investigating these illegal parties. We find them lots of times without any supervision at all. There's no security in place. Nobody checking in IDs. Nobody is checking for weapons, and they will serve as much as they can just to get somebody intoxicated because their primary focus is making money. So, what do I mean by illegal parties? If you charge an entry fee or you sell drinks at a party and you don't have an alcohol permit, it's illegal. We find that most individuals and promoters will be doing these at a lot of short-term rentals, like residential rentals and commercial spaces. So when they use these spaces, the landlords, they don't know what's going on most of the time. These rentals will be in your neighborhoods or in business parks. So if you can talk to your kids about where they're going, if they're going to parties, find out if they're in a business park, that's not a normal place to have a party. If they're going to a party or they're going to what they call a club and it's in a residential area, that's not where you have clubs or bars or restaurants. So make sure you check and have a good conversation with your kids, find out where they're going. The intent of these parties is to make money, and it's not the safety of our kids. So this is a big reason for having a good relationship with your children. When we do these investigations, we try to get ahead of them behind the scenes. We contact the landlords and we contact the renters. If we can shut these down before they occur, then typically the promoters or the party holders will try to move to a different location. So we try to monitor these places. We'll buy tickets online, and we keep them from having the parties by tracking them as they go through the week. A lot of times the party isn't announced, the location, until the very last minute. So we're held to coming in when the party is actually occurring. That's the sad part. When we find these kids, some of them being so inebriated that they have to be transported by medic. If you pay a ticket to a residential party, to a party in a residential area, or to a party in a commercial business center, it's probably not going to be a true club or bar. So if you find out your children are doing this, if you can track their funds, track their spending, track their phones, find out they're making these purchases online, find out where these tickets are going, that's where they're going to be. So that will help us to close these parties down. Can I answer any questions you might have?
Sergeant, is there any particular recent case that really jumps out at you that kind of highlights how bad this can turn out?
Most of the cases we've had here recently, we've been able to shut down early. We have found in one instance that someone had their house for sale and another person was able to get the key. The lock was on the front door. The instructions were to come around the back, and they were having parties in a house that was actually for sale, but the resident wasn't living there. They were in another state. We were able to get up with the real estate agent and find this house, and we could match it up with pictures on Instagram. So that's the closest thing we have, but fortunately we've been able to shut down anywhere from 3 to 6 of these parties a week. It will pick up during the summer. We see the trends pick up this time of year. But that's the closest or the most recent one we had that was bad. Most of them we've been able to shut down recently is because we've been doing this for a couple years and we're getting better at it.
Sergeant, I want to interrupt you. Did you reference the commercial business park suite that was rented out? Because we've got some supporting pictures.
Right.
And just want to make sure you did.
We investigated a location is in a commercial business park nearby, and when we got inside, the owner let us look into a back room, but not until after somebody opened the door and shut the door. It took us 10 minutes to get in. When we got inside, it was an illegal club. It was a strip club, actually. It was an illegal club, and everything was there. Liquor was there. A bar was set up. Tables and chairs were set up. Lights and TVs were set up. The owner admitted to us that they were renting this space out to make extra income. So this could be a location that any of your kids could go to because nobody was checking IDs. Nobody was keeping anyone under the age of 21 out. This is the type of scenario we're discussing right now.
Where was that?
That was on North Tryon Street.
We'll get you the numbers in there.
Any other questions for Sergeant Raines?
Has the rising popularity of services like Airbnb made this problem worse?
It's not just Airbnb. It's all the short-term rentals. You can get through Craigslist or any of them.
Hey, Sarge, are you guys facing the issue of parents hosting parties with alcohol, thinking that they're keeping kids safe if they have a party at their house?
Yes, ma'am. We are. In many cases, the parents think it's okay because they're going to be there or they're getting the keys. It's nice to not let them drive away, but it's still against the law to let them drink, much less get intoxicated. And some of these we found that they've been very intoxicated. The kids have.
How often are you seeing it ballpark?
On an average throughout the year, we're seeing it probably 6 to 8 times, and in the summer, it's the majority of the time, probably 4 to 5 times. So throughout the whole year, maybe 6 to 8, but in the summer is when we're seeing the majority of it, when the kids are out of school. Last week, we closed a party down that was coming up this weekend. The parents had rented a space out and were charging admission. So when we spoke to them, they said, well, they were just trying to get their money back for the expenditure on the party, for the graduation party. But the landlord was there and didn't realize this because they weren't told that admission was being charged and that this was going to be such a large party. When it's advertised, you don't know who's coming. So it's not just a small group of friends. When you advertise it, everybody sees it. People can buy a ticket and they can all come in with their tickets. So you don't know who's arriving. So that party was closed down. There was also a party scheduled for the end of this month at the same place by the same people, and that was shut down too.
With alcohol?
They said they were going to come in and check, but there wasn't supposed to be any alcohol.
What, is that how you guys are finding most of these cases, the advertisements, or these like parents calling in, or?
We have parents call in, but we have informants. We have people in the bar and restaurant and club industry who find out about these because they work closely with promoters. So a lot of these that we find are promoter driven. And again, the promoter will come in and they have a nickname or an Instagram handle, and they will convince you that they'll pay you cash, and it's just going to be a retirement party or graduation party or a fundraiser. And when we show up to talk to the landlord, we fill them in on exactly what the party is, and it's usually something the landlord says they had no idea it was going to be. Completely different from what they were told.
From a safety perspective, what's your biggest concern about these types of parties?
Well, like I said, when these parties occur, if someone knows about it, they come in, they're not ID'd and they're not searched. So when you have alcohol and a lot of young kids who can't handle alcohol, and a lot of older people who, quite frankly, want to prey on others, it combines for a dangerous situation. When nobody is being searched for weapons and nobody's being searched for or checked for the proper age, then you have somebody who's extremely inebriated and you have someone else who has the means and the opportunity to take advantage of it.
So what are the ages of these kids? Is it 15, 16, 17 or higher?
It's anywhere from low teens to 20, 21.
All right. Thank you, Sarge.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Lieutenant Crum, who's going to give an update on the homicide from this morning. Lieutenant Crum.
Good morning. Just wanted to share a little bit more information with you guys about the homicide from this morning. It took place in the 6200 block of O House Court. That's in the North Division. This morning about 5:45, officers were called to a shots fired call. When they arrived, they located the victim who was 16 years old, who was pronounced deceased there at the scene. I can share with you right now his name is Javon Goolsby. Last name is spelled Goolsby. We'll also send that out to you guys in a release shortly. This crime is really concerning to us. This is one of those cases where somebody's at home preparing for school. It's the end of the year, and somebody fired multiple shots in the house. He's inside the house. Somebody outside shoots into it, and we need the community's help to try to solve this. It's really concerning. To see this number of shots. You don't know who's inside the house. There's families living in the street, and we end up with somebody killed. It's really early in the investigation. Detectives are still on the scene right now. We're still talking to witnesses and looking for additional witnesses, but we'd like to encourage the public to call us because we need their help to solve this case. They can call the tip line at 704-432-TIPS, or they can call Crime Stoppers at 704-336-1600. They don't have to leave their name. You don't have to go to court. It's completely anonymous if you call the Crime Stoppers line. There is $5,000 available, or up to $5,000 available for that reward.
How many people were home at the time?
Approximately 7.
Lieutenant, you said this morning that the house was targeted. Is it still?
We believe so. Again, it's early in the investigation, but it's a neighborhood. It's a relatively large neighborhood. We believe the house was targeted. We don't have anything to indicate that it wasn't. So it wasn't random, or doesn't seem random.
Any idea on how the suspect got away? Car, on foot?
We still need somebody to come forward and tell us that information.
Think the victim was targeted or the house?
We say the house was targeted. We don't know anything about, why they may have chosen this house. We don't know, so we don't know anything beyond that. It just appears that this house was targeted.
We know if the victim was a teenager. Was there anybody younger than that in the house?
I'm not sure of that right now. We can find out for you.
Shot already? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I might have missed it. Did you say what the victim was doing when he was hit? Was he sleeping, or was he doing?
It was early in the morning. It's before school. I'm not sure exactly what he was doing. Like I said, when I left the scene, we're still just kind of getting started. But I'd say early morning, probably the early morning routine.
Was he in the bedroom, or?
Go ahead.
Was he in the bedroom?
I'm not sure that. I can't answer that for you right now.
Is this one of the youngest homicide victims of the year?
I'm not sure. We can look and find that information out for you. But he's definitely one of our younger victims.
Any cooperation from the house?
Yes, the family's there. The family's on scene. Obviously, they're very upset. They're very concerned, and they're talking with us now. But again, we need the community to step forward because they're the ones that usually have the information to solve our cases.
Can you confirm the hit was shot in the head? That's what we're hearing.
I have no idea. I can't confirm that right now. It's very early.
Okay. Thanks, Lieutenant. Appreciate it. All right, thank you all very much. We will send out a couple of releases. One, the cases that Sergeant Rain spoke about, we will include several pictures as well as that, and then we will also send out the updated press release from the homicide this morning. Just to reiterate, the call Crime Stoppers at 704-334-1600. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Have a good day.